Hi there, everyone. Yeah, Diaz Station is beyond saving. I had commented a couple of times on his latest video, an addendum to the whole jar situation, and yeah, he's just as very much unhinged as ever. And I'm going to be analysing some of those comments so that I can best explain, why it's all unhinged and why he hasn't changed and is very likely never going to change, despite the fact, um, some people were trying to help, like Liol Convoy and such. But yeah, seems like it's going to be help that's going to be falling on deaf ears since he just doesn't want to know at this point. Anyone who he's on full on anyone who criticizes me is wrong mode, and that's basically how it's going to stay, at least with him. It's very unlikely that he's going to change. Here I have the comments from his video that I had copied onto a document file, which I'm just going to read out. Also, this is going to be completely unscripted as always, so I do apologize for anything like that. But yeah, but the comments though, definitely have got reader. Sorry, I've got the comments here on a document, and I'll be reading those out, and we can analyze each one, and again, proving my point. So, this first one, excuse me, yeah, this first one is in regard to someone else mentioning the cartoon-she stuff again. And of course, doing the same thing. I think it was basically something like, yeah, the stuff that Jar did was pretty bad, but you've also done some bad stuff yourself, like the cartoon-she stuff, pretty much along those lines. Diaz's response: I didn't groom cartoon-she or try to use him for sexual gratification, which is true, he didn't. That's one instance where this is actually true. He didn't groom him or do anything of that nature to cartoon-she. However, this is where things get rough. I just tried to block evade him after he cut me off because Miss Anthro was being mean to people with different opinions makes me pee my pants. Not the exact P word there, but yeah, you get the idea. But that last statement was a lie, because we all know what happened, and he's trying to justify his actions. As I state in the comment that I've written after that, I see Jar isn't the only liar here, since it'd been found out that Jar had been misinterpreting certain facts. The big one, obviously, being that he said that he saw the Cine Bear 03. Oh, no, not the video. No, sorry, it was the docs. That was it. He said he read the documentations about her, but he didn't. So, yeah, that's the big one. But it was found out he lied about a few other things. But anyway, back to Diaz. I see JR isn't the only liar here. No, you didn't groom cartoon-she, but you still harassed him, and he was underage. You never mentioned cutting him off. He cut you off. That was me replying to that last statement, which, yeah, we know that cartoon-she wanted nothing to do with Diaz. He essentially just, which he said in his video they made several years ago about the guy, he decided that he didn't like his attitude, so he cut him off. Only after interacting with him like 2-3 times, anyway, a small number of times. But to Diaz, that was enough, apparently, to start up a friendship, which, no, it isn't. But anyway. So yeah, cartoon-she didn't like his attitude, cut him off, and this, of course, is when Diaz became quite angry at the whole thing and started using burner accounts, of which one of them, at least with one of them, he actually tried threatening cartoon-she, essentially saying, look, if you don't want to be involved in or be part of Miss Anthroponi, who was, as he was known at the time, if you don't want to be involved in his hate them video, then I suggest you speak to him. Threatening him in that regard, which of course, we all know now and is absolutely, that's not the right way of going about things. You should just leave things alone. But of course, he can't do that. So, what was Diaz's response to that comment I left? Well, apparently it's in 3 stages here. Diaz. 1. You're more offended that he was 4 months short of 18 rather than the fact I harassed him at all. First of all, as I will as I point out in the next comment below that one, I mean, yes, the age is a thing, but still, you shouldn't be harassing people regardless of their age at all. And also, that first part was copy and pasted off of somebody else's comment that he responded to. So, yeah, Diaz is now struggling to come up with retorts. 2, it's literally exactly what happened. He cut me off because he was peeing himself over a DM I sent to Power Lord Girl / Lawkeeper Lexi, whatever, after she tried to harass me over a re-review of The Last Jedi. That is not a lie. Well, first of all, that is a completely different response you gave to me compared to someone else who also brought up the cartoonshy stuff. And you didn't bring up Power Law Girl, Lawkeeper Lexi, or whoever she is. And no doubt if I were to show this to cartoonshy, he'll probably be like, I've got no idea what's going on here. And by the way, please don't ask cartoonshy for his take on this. If he wants to see this video of his own volition and wants to chirp in himself, that's absolutely fine. But no, don't worry. I'm not actually that curious for an answer from him. No, cartoonshy, he just wants to be far away from this guy as possible, and that's understandable. So yeah. So no, I don't want poor cartoonshy being dragged into this. So yeah, don't please don't harass cartoon, not harass cartoonshy, but say, oh hey, this guy's done a video and he's asked a question about you. So just no, it's very much so that he is unhinged and trying to excuse himself and his actions by obviously trying to blame it on someone else. That's obviously what's going on here, because again, we know what happened. We heard it from Cartoonshy himself. The best person to recollect everything that happened to him would be the victim himself. And yes, Cartoonshy is the victim in this piece, not Diaz. Anyway, moving on. 3. You just earned yourself a spot in my plans to cover the people harassing me. Ooh, does this mean I get to be part of your hate them video? Yay! He lied. I was probably a target for a long while. Who knows? Especially with this guy, considering how unhinged he is. Oh boy. Anyway, but no, I'm in a way I'm quite curious. So I'm probably going to laugh my head off because of all the statements he makes. Probably saying stuff like, he is a defender of the Star Wars sequel trilogy and therefore he is evil. I would laugh my head off if he'd done that because, oh dear. I've seen the films, but I don't defend the films. I'm indifferent at best towards the Star Wars sequel trilogy because that's a normal person's reaction. He goes way overboard with Star Wars, and we'll get to that later, but yeah. Oh dear. It's, yeah, it's a doozy. Anyway. Anyway, he continues. I know you're stalking me to feed information to Liol on top of rapidly... I think that's meant to be rapidly with a P. Making videos about every minuscule thing I did to offend you. Well, okay, yeah. The thing about information to Liol, yeah, I kind of forgot for a moment there because memory like a sieve, but then I realised, oh yes, I did. One comment on his last video because somebody asked about in regard to if he was going to do a response to Liol Convoy's video about him, an open letter to at Diaz Station 1992. And basically, Diaz says no, he's not going to do a response, and he wants absolutely nothing more to do with Liol Convoy or any of the former members of the Senate, blah blah blah. Or even though he still mentions that they are still the Senate, even though I do believe Lio has gotten rid of that server, or someone else has got rid of that server, or it's now run by different people. Okay, for that I'm not 100% sure, but anyway, but I do know Lio's not associated with it anymore. He's got his own server now, another new one. And anyway, but yeah, he basically just don't want to be associated with anybody from the Senate anymore, which, fine, but still, but what he does, is pretty scummy, as we'll find out. So yeah, anything else I need to answer about that? Yeah, well, no, nothing more in that particular one, but it's starting to show that he may have some, not an awful lot, but perhaps some slight paranoia. But anyway, moving on. I respond. In regard to Cartoonchi, he was still underage, and regardless of his age, you shouldn't have stalked him anyway. Okay, yes, I did relay one of your comments here to him, Liol Convoy, but that's it. I'm not in constant contact with Lio, but at least he's changing while you appear to have not. And of course, ever since, and I have watched quite a few, not all, but I have watched quite a few Liol Convoy's videos, especially since the drama blew up. Most importantly, the addressing things video, which, yes, it is 3 hours long, but I did watch all of it. And as expected, because he has at least shown that in the past, he does know to gather as much information as possible. He knows to gather as much evidence as possible so that he can present his case in a calm, or nowadays he's now doing it in a, well, he does do it in a calm fashion. He only gets angry if he's interviewing people who really makes him angry, and well, we all kind of know, a fine example of that. But he is getting much better at that. The video that's going to be brought up here will be his phone call to Jar, which I also watched. I think it was about 40 minutes in length or something about that. And as far as I'm aware, from what I can remember, I think he raised his voice perhaps a couple of times, but nothing like to the extent he did in the past. He just simply wanted information out of Jar about the whole situation with him and Cindy Bear 03. Anyway, after I said that, Diaz's response. Lio didn't change. If his interview with Jar is anything to go by, he's more angry that he was still in contact with me, rather than the fact he defended a paedophile. Okay. What he means by this, when he says he's more angry that he was still in contact with me rather than the fact he defended a paedophile, that's obviously in regard to Lio. Yeah, he so I'm just trying to I'm looking at it, I'm just trying to find the right thing to say here. Yeah, that is completely and utterly untrue. Well, at least in Diaz's point of view, in his mind, that's exactly what happened, but that's not what happened. No, Lio wasn't upset that Jar was in communication with Diaz. He asked about it, sure, because, it was a strange thing to be, teaming up with someone who has been, ousted as someone who often, harasses people and such. Because, thinking, that's not the kind of person you usually would associate yourself with. So that was kind of the that is the context of how Lio put his questioning to Jar. And yeah, this is definitely again something that's only in Diaz's mind, is the fact that in his mind now, regardless of what anyone says to him, and because he only sees in a black and white mentality, but to him, Jar is now going to be labelled as a paedophile, which he isn't. He only defended a child groomer. There is a difference. But Diaz, anyone who associates with anyone like that automatically makes them a paedophile. No, there's a grey area here. And yes, what he did was bad, but there are levels of bad working we're dealing with here. I mean, and of course, True Diaz hasn't stepped into that territory yet, and I doubt he ever will. But again, you can't just accuse someone of something like that without proof, because this is Liol Convoy mentioned about showing people the same grace that he would onto others, or he would onto others. Sorry, can't really get all the words out, but yeah, but you have to show people the same grace, you know. You obviously get upset when people claim that you, Diaz, are a paedophile, but you're not. And yeah, that I know that. I know that you are not a paedophile, but I know you get upset when people call you that, because again, it's not a nice thing to be said. Plus, also, where's the proof? So yeah, it works both ways. So how can you expect to get away with calling Jar this when you know because people are calling you the same thing. Is this why you feel like, oh, some people are calling me this word, this horrible word, so I'm going to call this person this horrible word, especially since they have been associated with somebody who has been this horrible word, and just yeah, it's I mean, yeah, it's not a nice thing, of course, but it's the same thing. Two wrongs don't make a right here. It's absolutely stupid to call Jar a paedophile when he isn't. He defended a child groomer. There's a huge difference. He has a girlfriend that he keeps mentioning constantly, who no doubt is around his age. Of course, not disputing that or whatever, but still, it's. I mean, yeah, I can understand like you getting upset when people call you that without any evidence, but because of that, you'd think you would learn not to do that yourself. But no, you're someone who uses the R word regardless of um, the R word that pokes fun of the mentally disabled. But yeah, you use that R word, thinking you're using it ironically when you're not. So yeah. Anyway, but that's not here though. You haven't. I want to make that clear. In any of these comments, he didn't actually use that word, but I know that he has used it in the past. Anyway, he continues about Liol Convoy. He has no place to talk to me about what he has no place to talk about me when he openly docks and harassed minors who were way younger than Cartoon she was at the time these things happened. Okay, I think I might know what he's referring to here. I think he's referring to the situation involving Smash Bandicoot. Now, Smash Bandicoot, as far as I'm aware, was 18 at the time when all of this happened. And for those who don't know, Smash Bandicoot, the one who gave us the "I will take you to the toilet" meme, that one, which even I had a little poke fun of him a little bit over that. But yeah, he was. I mean, as unhinged as Diaz is, Smash was really unhinged. Uh, yeah, even to the point where I think his sense of reality may have been, very much compromised. But anyway, he was stalking, going into various different Discord servers and posting lots of horrific material, be it gore, be it porn, be it indecent images of Donkey Kong and Ness from Earthbound doing things, and yeah, it's not very pleasant. So, what Lio did was he was able to obtain Smash Bandicoot's actual address. However, he didn't dox him in the way that people would like to think that he did. What happened was Lio gave the address only to the people that Smash was harassing so that they could file police reports against him. That's what happened. He didn't leave it like on some random Discord server or some random website or whatever for all people to see. No, and I think he only did it really as a last resort because he constantly, been going onto these Discord servers, many of which had minors in them, and he did what he thought was best to try and defend them. I can't recall if he actually filed a police report himself. Probably not, but he did. I do recall him did say he did give the addresses only to the people he was harassing, though. So he was helping victims out. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what Diaz is trying to get at, and he's completely poisoning the well here by making out that Smash was younger than he was, which again he wasn't. He was about 18. I think Liol did make that quite clear in quite a couple of the videos in which he, or at least one video in which he dealt with Smash. Um, and yeah, I said he didn't openly dox anyone. He did have the information, but he only gave it out to the correct people, the people with whom that this information needs to be got out, so that these people can actually defend themselves by filing police reports saying, yeah, this person is sending incredibly horrible images and video and goodness knows what else, and it's harassing us online. Can you please do something about it? Since, of course, to make the situation even more complicated, he lives in Egypt, so yeah, it's a bit of obviously a bit of an international situation there. But yeah, again, he was only doing it for he had good intentions. He didn't like do what other people do and just oh, I'm going to dox you. I'm going to like send all your information out there online for people to find out, and then they can harass you with letters, phone calls, nonsense emails, this, that, and the other. No, he doesn't do that at all. This is Diaz jumping on the bandwagon of people of whom begin to absolutely despise Liol Convoy after all the drama that was that came out from early last year. To which again he addresses all of that in his addressing things video. Yes, some people aren't going to believe it. Some people are still going to dislike him. I get that. And of course, the same for Diaz. He doesn't necessarily have to forgive him or interact with him or whatever, but still, what he says is lies. He's just, poisoning the world to benefit he himself. Anyway, as I say in the response, Jar isn't a paedophile, though. He defended a groomer. There is a big difference there. Also, Liol didn't sound too angry with Jar in his phone call with him. He actually conducted himself rather well. I doubt you could under those circumstances, though. And that was that. But yeah, again, there is a major difference. There is a major difference here. Jar hasn't been with anybody who's underage. As the only other thing apart from the Cinebear 03 thing was, I think he got somebody who's underage to draw him a very questionable picture of his robot avatar, and they were underage at the time, which he admitted to as well. But that's it. Apart from that, apart from the Cinebear 03 thing, defending child groomer, so apart from those two, he has not said anything about being together with someone underage. Obviously, that may not be true. It might, or is true. But yeah, I'm not going to delve too much deep into that because obviously lots of people have done it to death by now. But, and so questioning, is this what Jar says? Is it true? Is it not true? But anyway, right now we're dealing with Diaz. But still, again, for the purposes here, he shouldn't be calling somebody a paedophile like this without solid evidence. Like if it was different, if he like evidence to say, "Oh, Jar has been with someone who was, I don't know, like 15, or was like dating somebody who was 15, and he was like in his early 20s, or something like that," that is a major red flag in that regard. But no, we don't see that evidence. You're just using it to because in your head, it's pretty much like Cuties. If anyone saw the movie Cuties, that automatically makes them a paedophile in his eyes. And also, someone else brought this up quite interestingly in another video, that he contradicts himself in that regard in terms of Cuties, because he said the film once had softcore porn, and then later on he said it had hardcore porn. That's a very big contradiction there, because if the film had hardcore porn in it, then Netflix wouldn't have been allowed to show it. they certainly wouldn't have allowed it on their platform, because they go, no, this is bad. This is kids really getting into some heavy stuff here. No, we because they'll lose their business. They'll lose their license to be online and such. It's um, it's a bit, use common sense here. A major company is not going to put something on their website which is going to cause a huge uproar. I mean, the film Cuties itself is pretty bad. I haven't seen it. I do not want to see it. I'm just going by what other people say. But obviously, yeah, I mean, it's bad for a number of reasons. But someone can, they may stumble upon it out of morbid curiosity. Maybe they want to see why the film is so bad, and then when they see it and they come out of it, and they can easily say, "Oh yeah, I can see why people dislike it now. That film was really bad." They can do that, especially since it's available to see. Yes, it's this. This is what I mean by it having a grey area. It's it obviously was problematic, but at the same time, it must have ticked some boxes for it to at least be shown online, at least be shown on a service like Netflix, because I don't. It sounds like I'm defending it, and I don't really want to defend this film. But what I'm saying is, it must have done some things where, not some things right, but they must have cleared some legal stance which allowed it to be viewable and available on the website. Like I said, I do not want to go and search for this film because it sounds absolutely terrible. Just because. As far as I'm aware, I think it's about exploitation of child actors and whatever. But there are some scenes which may what looks like they're in very sexual situations or near sexual situations. Again, like the softcore stuff, which which shouldn't have been in this kind of film to begin with. But again, you can't just flip flop over the fact, because hardcore stuff is far more serious than anything softcore. But anyway, but again, this is his mentality. Once Diaz has made up his mind about something, that's it. He's never going to change his mind about it again. To him, that is, the be all, end all way of seeing things, and everyone else should see the same thing that he does. That's his problem. He is never going to respect other people's opinions. He's never going to see the grey area. It's always going to be black and white. It's either going to be this or this. You can't you can't be in the middle here. If you're being in the middle, if there's something wrong with you if you're in the middle. No, there's nothing wrong with being in the middle. Nothing wrong with being in the middle at all. People can have mixed opinions about things. Again, going back to Star Wars, which actually I'll just scroll up here, because this is the doozy that I was talking to you about, which I'll get into in a minute. But again, take the Star Wars films. Some people will have some good points about it. Some people may have some bad points about it. That's pretty much in the middle. But for him, it's either you love it or you hate it. And of course, in the case of the sequel trilogy, he absolutely loathes the sequel trilogy, as we know. Anyway, this next comment is him kind of responding to. I was going to listen about the Star Wars sequel trilogy first. This was just about how he conducts his media reviews and how he speaks to others about their opinions about the same media he was talking about. But yeah, anyway. He starts off, there weren't even hot takes. There were common knowledge that offended people with an unhealthy attachment to their sacred cows. Again, this is proving my point here about his view on things is the only one that makes sense in the long run. He refers to his opinion as common knowledge. Right there. He is always going to think of his opinion as common knowledge. And, that's the be-all, end-all. The only way you can see like this piece of media I've reviewed. If I say it's bad, it's bad. There's nothing good about it at all. Nothing. Not even one iota. And if you mention that there's one iota of goodness in this piece of media that I'll review, then you are an evil monster. That is Diaz. Anyway, he continues. I won't deny that I've done some things worthy of criticism, but 95% of the backlash I get come from people who never saw a black and white movie in their lives or even read a book without pictures in it. So yeah, he's a bit of a clever way of, well, I say that, but yeah, he's sort of being ableist. I can't even say the word sorry, ableist. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's ableist. No, I'm gonna give up. I'm sorry. Oh, I know it's annoying. Anyway, he's basically this is completely unscripted. I do apologize, guys. Essentially, he's poking fun at people for a lack of intelligence here. While at the same time, he yeah, I won't deny that I've done things worthy of criticism. Yeah, he's this is painful. This is absolutely painful to go through. What's the word I'm searching for? Contradicts. Sorry, yeah, he contradicts himself right there. If you think that people have done, if you've acknowledged that you've done stuff worthy of criticism, then take it. Don't just keep making excuses and fighting back, and just always believing that you're in the right, because that's the thing with criticism. You can, like, if someone were to give an honest criticism about something I've done, post in the comments, whatever, and they say something like, "Oh yeah, this is a good video, but this part in particular, this could have been better. What I would have done was," and they would have mentioned what it was that would have changed, and I would have said, "Huh," after like reading up on it. A Diaz response would be to say something like, "Oh, how dare you, try to wreck the work that I've done, by saying that you would have done it differently. Oh, this is, really gets me angry. It shows that, you disrespect me, or whatever it is." But obviously, depending on how they word it, depending on how it's, put together, I'll look at the comment, and, if it's gives like a proper account of what could be changed in a fine manner, I'll probably look at it and go, "Huh, you know what? That would actually work. That would be a lot better. Thank you very much for your feedback. I will definitely consider that next time I put together a video." That's a normal response. People, a criticism doesn't necessarily mean an attack. It doesn't necessarily mean a personal attack on someone. I think, yeah, it might sometimes be the way people phrase it or how it comes about. I get it, because sometimes I do take things personally. I myself, again, I'm on the autism spectrum, and some things might be misconstrued as a personal attack on myself. I get that. However, of course, it's how you how you naturally how you respond. How you respond is just as important as the criticism. And it's just as important. Sorry, I'm repeating myself because I'm trying to really struggle to find the things to say here. But yeah, it's I can realize, hey, this is a criticism, but it's not bad. It's actually very helpful for me. That's why it's called constructive criticism. They're saying, they not saying, "Oh, I can do this a lot better than you can." No, 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 no. They're not saying that at all. They said, "Well, what I would have done was I would have done this instead of this, because that way this point would be reached a lot more, or that's the general explanation as to why people give constructive criticism. They're not doing it to attack people; they're doing it to try and improve them, to try and help them out. But now, as Diaz continues to respond with stuff like this, no one's no one's going to bother giving him criticism. It's all going to be to try and deliberately get a raise out of him. It's pretty much similar to the whole thing with Chris Chan, when the trolls deliberately attack him because they know that they're going to get a rise out of him. The thing is going to happen here with Diaz. People are going to continue to, harass him for all the wrong reasons. And this is also why, it's sad how he, completely treats Liol Convoy, because in the past, Liol did help him out with some of his more genuine harassers. Like when they were, deliberately sending in messages to him on a much regular basis, and this, that, and the other. And he of course tried to help him out in that regard in the past by getting these people to knock it off. Though with one of his harassers, if I'm remembering rightly, I think it was a Senate call, of which they that call was quite problematic in its own right. Not as bad as the Rosa Ray Ramsey call, of course, but it was still pretty bad by the fact that they made somebody on the spectrum cry right there on the and humiliate him right there on the actual call. At the end of it all, Diaz, though, said he was going to give him another chance, while everybody else in the Senate went, no, we're not, it's probably best just to, drop this guy and move on. But anyway, whether that's beside the point about what happened to the other guy, but still, it did leave a slightly bitter taste in my mouth when after, of course, hearing that call, which again, I'm pretty sure Liol would have apologized for doing all that if, of course that's what he does. He even admits in the addressing things video, if people would bother to watch it, though he has mentioned it a few other times, that he actually did apologise to Rosa Ray Ramsey after the call, or at least he tried to. He got a third party to help apologise for him. But that was the thing. He apologised right there and there. Diaz decided that only now he's going to apologise for his involvement with the Rosa Ray Ramsey call. How convenient. Anyway, after he said that quote about the whole thing, about the black and white movies and the books and whatever, which really got me started. Again, I do apologise for not getting the words out. Oh, like I said, but this is painful. Anyway, I left him a comment. Let's use the Star Wars sequel trilogy as an example here. To you, your word is gospel, and that the films are garbage, and no one should have the right to like or even defend them because, again, to you, they're an abomination to the franchise, and anyone who takes away something from these movies and likes them, even in the slightest bit, shouldn't be around to voice their opinion. That's what many are getting from your attitude, Diaz. You can be critical of something without going to extremes like you've done in the past, and perhaps will continue to do so. So yeah, basically just saying what I said earlier in regard to, his is the only word that, is law or should be law, is Diaz's law. It's only Diaz, only me that, has the greatest opinion ever because I am me. It's, but in a way it's, it's rather sad that he's, of this mentality now, and that might be, not saying, because this may not have happened, and he might still have turned out the same way. However, of course, it doesn't help that he's lost both his parents now. We all know, of course, about his father, but on his first, actually, it wasn't his first video. I think maybe in his second. But yeah, on his second, anyway. In his first address, not addressing things again, it's our convoy. Sorry. Anyway, but shortly after he started his Diaz Station channel, he did a video about him. That was it, about cutting his ties with Just a Robot. And one of the things he mentioned was that he lost his mother, and yeah, that was that rather sad to hear. Even even Liol Convoy in his video, the open letter, um, like he was taken aback by that. Like he didn't know until, of course, he saw the video, and he sounded genuinely sad that that happened, especially since um, Diaz's mother was his caretaker. So now with her gone, he's probably wondering, is he going to get the right adequate amount of care that he needs or whatever? Well, from what, according to Diaz himself, he's still got his job. He still does stuff around the house, etc. So he's keeping himself busy. So in that regard, that's good. He's keeping himself busy. He's still continuing to do stuff outside, um, outside stuff online. So it's probably not as bad as Jar in that regard. In which case, in the fact that he like relies on YouTube, or his whole world is YouTube, but or online in general. But again, who can really say? Hopefully that's the case. But well, it's very hard to imagine anything else at this point, since he's come back now with his third channel, and at the moment he still is showing off and still doing the same thing as he's always done. In fact, in another person's video in regards to Diaz, one person in the comment section said that he still admits to using burner accounts, and this was posted a month ago. So yeah, he's so regardless of what he's doing on YouTube, if he's still going on to other social media sites and stuff like DeviantArt or whatever, and he's still using the burner accounts, well, as Liol Convoy said, he broke his promise to his father. Since everybody poked fun of it because everyone saw it was a tactic, a very manipulative tactic to use his father's ornament heart and making a promise on it to try and get people to forgive him. That's not good. That's why Queen Seraphina and that creepy reading really tore into him because of that. Because it was emotional blackmail in a way. I probably botched. I've botched it up, no doubt. But yeah, but in a way that is it is sad that he's lost both his parents, especially since I'm not in that position, and I am extremely, extremely grateful that I'm not. But I can understand, of course, it's not the same for everyone. And in times like this, you would turn to friends, you would turn to other family, which I'm pretty sure Diaz has done. But still, for the amount of grace that you feel like you want to give him, he still is going to be the same person who feels like he needs to be, like the person whose opinion matters to all media. And it's just in a way it's sad, and it's it's I can't think of any other words. It's just pretty bad. Anyway, for this last quote, which was the reply I had to or his reply to my quote on the comment on the Star Wars sequel trilogy, I'm actually going to read this out in the Diaz voice because, especially with the first part of it, because again, like I said, with the amount of grace we want to give him, he comes out with trash like this. This is precisely what they are, you evil fuck. What's a fuck? Seriously, what's a fuck? Anybody post what a fuck is in the comment section. That would be great. What? Hold on. Is he trying to be Hopeless Peaches? Is he trying to sound like he's from up north? Is he trying to sound like he's from up north? Oh, you're a fuck. That's what you are. You're a fuck. Oh, I'm sorry. But after that, I think we need a good laugh. Oh, by the way, I thought this was a typo, but apparently he said the same thing to someone else, but I don't know if that in itself again is a typo or if he was deliberately trying to censor himself. Because if it was the latter, he does a pretty poor job of it. A really, really poor job. Oh dear. And sorry, yeah, that's. I only said it because it's misspelled. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid saying the actual swears here. But anyway. And after he says that, he continues, "They are horrific, toxic, grotesque excuses for feature films that destroyed one of the most prolific works of art in the history of the human race because they did not fit Kathleen Kennedy's image of female empowerment." Oh boy, where to begin with that? Yeah, this is what I mean by this is pure vintage Diaz right here. You know, he will defend the original Star Wars trilogy to the hilt. This is he just said the most prolific works of art in the history of the human race. I can imagine Liol Convoy in my head going, "It's freaking Star Wars!" Which it is. It's freaking Star Wars. I mean, come on. I don't think any of the Star Wars films, as far as I'm aware, won any Oscars or any major accolades like that. I mean, yeah, they're good films. They're fine for the genre they're in. They're sci-fi, or whatever, but they're not going to be monumental classics in that regard. I mean, again, I sound like I'm bad mouthing the whole thing. No, I'm just saying they're good films, but they're not worth this level of praise. They're not. They're just movies. It's a media franchise. It's there to make money for people. It's just, oh my word! And the whole thing about Kathleen Kennedy. Yeah, he's got a bee in his bonnet about Kathleen Kennedy. Thinking that the whole like Star Wars should probably be gender washed, so it will only be female characters or whatever. She said a stupid comment once about Star Wars should only be watched by girls or anything like that. When really, it'll be the same thing as somebody said, "Oh, Star Wars shouldn't be watched by boys." No, Star Wars can be enjoyed by everyone. It's a stupid comment to say, sure, but I bet only because of that, Diaz has already painted a picture that Kathleen Kennedy is like an extreme feminist who think, she believes the Star Wars film should only have female characters because they empower females. Having a female lead isn't enough. Apparently, not in Diaz's eyes for Kathleen Kennedy. I think it was, but for Kathleen Kennedy, but for Diaz, oh no, having a female lead is not enough to meet her level of satisfaction. Stupid. Sorry about that. He continues. They also teach extremely effed up lessons to children, like how those who murdered innocent people on multiple occasions deserve to be forgiven, or how it's perfectly fine for a woman to be in a romantic relationship with a guy who thoroughly abused, traumatized, and tried to kill her multiple times. Oh boy. Well, first of all, the Star Wars sequel trilogy is 12 at best, which is PG-13. But yeah, when he says children, he probably mean still underaged, around teens, who are just learning about relationships and that kind of thing. Which, okay, I'll give him that as far as the age thing is concerned. However, in terms of the actual story, I can't recall Rey ever being abused or traumatized by Kylo Ren. They just have a mental back and forth a lot with one another. Now, trying to kill her multiple times through lightsaber, but there was like a couple of lightsaber battles. Yeah, well, okay, yeah, I'll give him that with the whole thing with the lightsaber battles thing because when you want to kill someone with a lightsaber because it looks cool, but yeah, but as far as going into a romantic relationship goes, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I can sort of get what they were trying to go for. I mean, it looked like something like that. But then again, to be honest, when I saw The Force Awakens, I thought she was going to get together with Finn. But the way, the two acting like buddy, I'm thinking, oh, I can actually see that, maybe Finn and Rey becoming a couple, but of course, no, that didn't happen because of The Last Jedi. That's probably another reason why he hates Last Jedi, because of what happened there with Finn and Rose. But anyway, that's beside what's going on here. But no, maybe they were trying to go. I mean, I can sort of see where he's coming from. It kind of looked like they were trying to go for a romantic relationship, but then that may not be the case at all. Maybe they were trying to emulate like a brother-sister like relationship, a sibling relationship. Maybe they were doing, perhaps something like that. But at the end of the day, major spoiler alert for The Rise of Skywalker, but it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 5. It was 5 years now, so I'm pretty sure lots of people have seen it. Lots of people know what happens. But yeah, major spoiler alert. Kylo Ren dies at the end. So yeah, so much for having a romantic relationship of which there was absolutely nothing like that. Nothing like that at all. But I'm pretty sure the two of them don't even kiss. Well, I can't remember. I've only seen the films a couple of times. It's been a long while ago, but I'm pretty sure neither of them actually kissed. And honestly, but still, even if they did kiss, again, siblings kiss all the time. But yeah. Oh dear me. But basically, yeah, I think he never really liked Rey as a character, from giving how all this has been written down, because because he thinks, Kathleen Kennedy had inserted her to try to be a female role, so that, to give women more, feel more powerful and that kind of thing, and just, yeah. And it also doesn't like her as a character because, again, it's probably like every time they have the little, mental connections or whatever between Kylo Ren and Rey, he'll probably want to he'll probably say to Rey, "Come on, kill him! Use your mind, do something awful to him. Come on, kill him." I mean, yeah, I wanted Kylo Ren dead as well because of what he did to Han Solo at the end of the first film, at the end of Force Awakens. But that wasn't because I was mad at the filmmakers. No, I wanted to see what happens next. I'm thinking, I'm hoping this Kylo Ren gets his comeuppance. But then we saw Last Jedi, and I was like, wow, there's actually a bit more depth into Kylo Ren than I thought. Yes, in a way, I kind of am defending the film. Slightly, anyway. But yeah, he come off a bit more as what I like to call a chaos villain. And, someone who just wants to wipe the board completely clean and start over. I was thinking, oh, well, actually, that's good villain motivation right there. But of course, they didn't go along with it, which, a bit of a pity. He just, takes control over the First Order, and then at the beginning of the third film was like, oh, Palpatine's back, hooray! But then I was thinking, well, a lot of people at the time, but I was like, oh, Palpatine's back, okay. So much for Kylo Ren wanting to wipe the slate clean. But then I think, hang on a second, Palpatine's back. He's obviously a clone. Clone technology? See, it may see. I mean, yeah, it was a, pretty, I don't know, some people might think, it's a bit of an obvious plot thing to, to mention. But I think, sorry, an obvious plot thing to mention. But then I think to myself, oh yeah, because, the Sith helped to develop the clone technology. It makes sense in that regard. So I think, oh yeah, that's, a nice callback kind of thing, But yeah, that doesn't mean to say that, everything about the sequel trilogy is good or bad, really. I just feel quite indifferent towards them. But yeah, I can understand, some people, really didn't like them. I mean, yeah, I see the questionable side of what they almost did to Luke Skywalker, but of course, they didn't in a way, but that a domino effect that caused, a major negative domino effect, which goes into the story, killing off several characters. Although the only one I'm going to give them some slack for is, of course, Princess Leia, due to the fact that Carrie Fisher did sadly pass away in between films. So in that regard, yeah, they had to get rid of her. Although I'm not sure that may have been the plan. I doubt it, but anyway, that happened. And yeah, and also but everybody in watching Rise of Skywalker, when we see, that scene in the film where Chewie was on a transport or whatever, and it blew up, and everyone's like, "No, not Chewie! They can't get rid of him too." But then, of course, we find out, oh no, he's fine. Oh, thank goodness for that. So yeah, they didn't kill off everyone from the original trilogy. So yeah, yeah, lost Han Solo in. Actually, we did lose one of each of the main three in each film. So we lost Han in the first one, Luke in the second one, and Princess Leia in the third one. So yeah, even though, like, again, with Princess Leia, I'm going to come some slack on that one due to Carrie Fisher's death, but still, I bet some people will be like, oh, why didn't they do like a Grand Moff Tarkin like they did in Rogue One and bring Peter Cushing back, through computer graphics? Oh boy. But yeah, lots of people were still up in arms about that, going, "Whoa, how dare you do that? How dare did you get permission from Peter Cushing's, family and estate before you do that?" Getting that kind of thing. But yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, but here I have to finish up with this particular bit of the comment here. Once again, said by Diaz. The internet is not a place for respecting different opinions, regardless of how wrong they are. It never was. You thinking it should be as I'm thinking as infantile. Yeah, it never was. You thinking it should be is infantile. Oh, he absolutely, completely misses the point about the internet. It is a place for people to express their opinions. Because if that's the case, if it wasn't a place for people to express opinions, then he can express his. Plain and simple. Dearie me. Yeah, this has been a bit of a ride. And to be quite honest, I'm getting quite tired of this now. And yeah, I've said my piece. I've had my fun. I had my laugh, and this, that, and the other. But yeah, it's time that I put it to bed, at least for now. So this will be absolutely, and I doubt he's going to do anything really stupid, unless he comes out with his hate-dom video, in which loads of people are going to be all over that, and and rightfully so, because he'll no doubt spout out more lies, and or at least his opinions on people who he believed wronged him, but that wasn't the case. They may have said one simple thing, and automatically they get put on his list of offenders and abusers and whatever. Harassers. That's the word I'm searching for. His list of harassers, and then that's pretty much it. Oh dear, but yeah. I don't think he's going to do anything like that, though. He's probably going to do a few more media reviews, which I've pretty much ignored for the most part. Thinking, yeah. You think that way about Shadow the Hedgehog? Fine. You think that way about the Mufasa remake? Not remake. Sorry, that's not a remake. No, it's a prequel to the live action remake. But yeah, you feel that way about the Mufasa film? Fine. You feel that way about the PS4? Not PS4. Sorry, PS5 Pro or whatever. Fine. Whatever. He can do his media reviews. People can watch them. People can enjoy them. People don't have to watch them. They can just ignore them for the most part, like I have. So yeah. So yeah, I'm going to put this right to bed right now. For the time being. Like I said, I doubt that he's going to do his hate-dom video, and if I'm included in that, I'll very likely have my say on that. But that's, to be honest, I think that's going to be the only time that I'm going to be doing another video on Diaz. If he does his hate-dom video, and if I'm included, then I'm entitled to have my say about it, and no doubt, obviously, go through everything that he said about me. I mean, yeah, I put on a voice. I may poke fun of him from time to time, but, well, at least I, don't use any of the abia. I can't freaking say that word. That's really annoying. Abeist. Anyway, he doesn't use. I don't use the same language that he does. Hurling insults at people all the time. I mean, like, the worst is when I I can figure only at the top of my head right now is when I did that George Lucas video. I called him like a stupid man. That's pretty much it. And that's like as lame an insult as you can get. But yeah, as I said, I might may have poked fun of him from time to time, but yeah, the reality though is it is quite sad that he's lost both his parents now, and no doubt he's pretty much lost his filter. And but who can say how much of an on that his parents knew about his online presence? Probably not. But yeah, it's sad in that regard what happened to him. But yeah, the way things are looking now, he is not going to change. He just has this mentality about him where once he's made up his mind, he's made up his mind. So yeah, I suggest just avoid him. Try not to deliberately antagonize him, because he will just antagonize you back in spades, and just antagonize you back a thousandfold, and it's just not going to be a pretty picture. So I've been going on for an hour now, and I will stop things here. So thanks again for watching if you've managed to stick around this long, and do take care. Bye.